Okay, Stephanie Toman here again on the Basic Access, the Module 5. The final object reports, great for compiling and printing. And we're going to be learning how to use the report wizard, edit and change reports, add features such as page numbers, etc. Take a look at the summary options where we can use for an inbuilt wizard to do calculations, and also how to add calculations manually. And look at print preview, slightly different to the other objects. As we know, Access does not have a layout tab, but that's something we'll be aware of as we're going through. I hope you enjoy this. We're going to open up the demo clubs. Remember the slides there that go across all of this. So moving on, with regards to reports, a little bit more to it. You can see here, if we go into the design view, and then if we go into the actual datasheet view, report view, and you can see that this is quite tight. It's on top of each other. So remember, if you go into, you need to look at the things like the layout and orientation, things like that. You go into print and print preview. You get the option to do a landscape. They may ask you in the exam to change it to landscape, so be aware of that. And if you close print preview, you'll go back to your normal tools. If you're in design, you can drag these out, and then you can stretch these out a little bit. Any dragging over, they're all on top of each other by the looks of it. So they might ask you, or you might have to in the real world, if you move one, that's the heading, as it says page header, and this is where the data is. So if we look at the hours, go into the front end, you can see they're the two things I've just moved. You'd have to move these as well. The other thing you might notice in here is the summary. So let's go back, let's close this and let's do a report with some numerical data in it, so I can show you that. So this one's got the session fee. So let's look at the session fee. So I'm going to close that. So create report wizard. We've got a club, we've got a session fee there, so I'm going to take them all over. And then next, it'll ask us to group things by something. Let's group it by club name. So take club name over. Before it was club ref, take that one back. And now we're going to do it by club name. Then next, it's been grouped. Here's the summary options I discussed. So you click in there and you can do a really quick calculation either on session fee or hours. Okay, it takes you back in and then you complete till you get to the next and finish. And then it shows you, there's your calculation there. It's done it by club, different clubs, and then the details within there. And this is my sum there. If you just close that, if you right click on club 3 report and go into design view, you can actually put in on a session fee, we can put in the hours here. Do you see how it's been written in? Notice that if you put in an equals sum or whatever function you're going to use, it's the normal rounded brackets with the field in square brackets. So let's see how we do that. So let's delete that. Tricky to get hold of it sometimes. Delete it on the edge. And there's the name of it. So we'll delete that as well. So this is the one you use for that. So it's the AB. You draw it out in the area you want it. There's the text. That's what it's going to be called. And you could put sum. And in here, the unbound, we're going to put equal sum, open bracket, square bracket, and we're going to add up the hours, another square bracket, and then finish on bracket off. So then we look at that on the front end, you can see there's my sum, and there's a 2, and there's a 3, etc. Okay, so you can use the summary options if they let you in a wizard, or you may have to actually use the label up here, the text box label, to pop that in manually. You've got page numbers, you can see them here. they're all in this feature here. So there's your page numbers, and you can have them in particular places. Number of pages, okay, pop that in there, and there it's gone into that one there. So reports really useful. You can double click on these and you can have a look, and that's the one we did the test facility. You can bring all sorts of information in and move things around. Okay, you can even put a label in if you want to put your name in. You've got the label next door there, and then you could put a name or something else on there. Oops, what's going on? Let's just leave it, Stephanie. Okay, and then back to the front. So it's been a lot to do with databases, but remember, I'm just going to close this, not save. Remember that you have the slides. So if you're thinking, oh, that was really quick, never got some of that, there's some basic information, just like the other applications, about how to use help, talking about structure. So there's some stuff that you may or may not want to read, but it is there. You've got things about how you navigate around, and then the different sections. There's your navigation again, and when it comes to you've got your field properties that we talked about. They're all reminders of stuff we've done. So there's your validation rule, bring them all up, defining a primary key. So the language is all there, rather than me bogging you down with all of that language, as well as demonstrating. I've used some language to try and get it across, but otherwise you will find that you just don't hear me anymore. So I've tried to do it in a more layperson's way. Have a go at creating a simple database, because it will help you to get an idea of how it works. It's all there in the slides. You can just search them, find out the areas you want, or just stick to the video if you're happy with that. You've got practice to do on this module, practice paper before you do your diagnostic test. So lots of information. And then finally, before I go, the access tricks and tips, I don't know which way it should be. And it's just reminding you of some of the language that I've been using, some of the principles, in other words, the multiple choice questions you may get asked. And there's a lot of stuff in here that I've been talking about. So it'll help to remind you. Default value, what is it, by the way? We know how to do it, but it's just reminding you. A wildcard with an asterisk. Modifying a query, make sure you save on the quick access toolbar, etc, etc. There's the sidebar for deleting a form, and reference integrity, the good old yes, no duplicates as well.